Okay, so we'll begin our understanding by exploring the origin of the word strategy. To understand what strategy actually means, it's always better to reflect back. And I'll take you back to time and we will discuss the historical origin of the word strategy. So, the key learning objectives in this part is we'll try to define strategy, we will try to discuss different alternative definition of strategy proposed by some of the seminal scholars in the understanding of strategy, and then we'll also look into the historical perspective of the strategic thinking. So let's dive in. Okay, see, the word strategy is derived from the military concept. So there's a Greek word called strategos, which means a military general. And the word stratego is it's a board game. It's a strategy game as well. So as you can see, the word has been derived with a military origin. The earliest reference of the word strategy was found into the writings of a Chinese military general, and his name was Sun Shu. So he wrote a book during 500 BC, and the book was called The Art of War. So in that book, probably the first time he talked about some of the plans by the military, which has got some relevance with the concept of strategy. So in that book called The Art of War, Sun Tzu wrote some of the things regarding military strategy, like, know the other and know yourself, 100 challenges without danger, know not the other, know yourself. So these are some of the more developed codification of the strategy, where he was trying to plan the attack when it was time to battle the enemies. So from this book, it was found that a winning military strategy emerges from a thorough understanding of one's opponents and oneself. So that's the beginning of strategy, when you want to understand yourself better and also your opponent. So what are they good at, and what are my key strengths and opportunities, and things like that. So since then, the word strategy has evolved in numerous ways and different pathways. So we'll reflect onto some of those. But in modern business, probably the term refers to the concept of planning beforehand by understanding your competitors better. So there are alternative definitions. Now let's just look into some of the core definitions of strategy. Now, one of the scholars whose name will be repeatedly come into this course is Michael Porter. So Michael Porter is a Harvard professor, and he was the one who has championed the modern discussion of strategy, and he also proposed some of the seminal theories of strategy. One such theory is the five forces model, which we will cover in this course. So according to Michael Porter, strategy is about setting yourself apart from the competition. It's not a matter of being better at what you do, it's a matter of being different at what you do. So it's actually very important, and I find it really very powerful what Michael Porter says, because I think I was listening to one of his talks, and he was saying that every business out there, they're trying to become the best. If you look into when they develop their strategy, when they craft their strategy, everyone is like trying to best. Yes, we're gonna become the best. Our strategy has to be the best. But according to Michael Porter, he says the term best doesn't exist. There's nothing called a best. Like, well, Apple. Let's talk about Apple. Now, undoubtedly, Apple is the leader in smartphones and in the computing world as well, but they're probably not the best. I mean, because there could be various ways to look at that. Like, if you think about the operating system, yes, they have the best operating system. If you look into the convenience, the user friendliness, yes, probably they have the best. They are the best in the market, but they're not best in all regards. Like when it comes to the resolution of the smartphone, probably some other brands like Samsung may outperform Apple. So the term best is very relative. So you can't exactly claim that our strategy has to be the best. What you can do, however, as Michael Porter says, that strategy is to differentiate yourself from others. So how unique you are from others, that's where your focus should be rather than trying to become best. So I find this very powerful. The next scholar, who is also one of the most reputed scholars when it comes to strategic management, is Henry Mintzberg. He's a Canadian scholar, and Mintzberg has also championed the study of definition. So when you want to know the practical aspect of the strategy, it's very important to go back to the theoretical side as well, so that you have a solid foundation. So according to Mintzberg, he says that the word strategy is very multidimensional. You cannot simply define strategy with just 2 lines or a few words. So according to Mintzberg, he actually gave few key points to think about strategy. So a strategy could be a plan, strategy could be a pattern, it could be a position, perspective, and it could be a ploy. I'm not going to the detail of each of these. We'll cover these in the later part of our course, but I wanted to give you another perspective. So you will find, which is the interesting part in the discussion of strategy, that no 2 definition would match, because this is such a concept which you cannot simply describe with just 2 lines or 1 definition.